So, so I'm subscribed to Scotty Kilmer on YouTube, and he has a lot of interesting videos. I'd say informational videos about cars and maintenance and cars to kind of avoid and things like that. Which is, he's been a mechanic for a long time, 50-something years, I think, is what he says. And most of them are really informational. You know, he's just kind of like, he just tells it like it is for the most part. Like, hey, Honda and Toyota are typically the best cars if you're looking for like the best overall value as far as terms of maintenance and low cost. And just best overall value, right? The one thing I don't understand is that he's very critical of people, of like car salesmen and dealerships and, you know, people trying to sell you basically not a very good car. What you have to understand as a consumer is, hey, if you go into a dealership for like Chrysler or Audi or BMW, they're going to try to sell you their car, right? That's why they're there. They don't have you know, different brands to choose from. They're there to try to sell you that car. So that's the thing about salesmen that you have to understand as a consumer. Like, if they're overly salesy, you have to really discount that because they obviously only get paid by selling that car or making a sale, right? And they want to eat just as much as he does, right? Scotty Kilmer, you know, probably gets paid. He's probably been paid millions of dollars by YouTube just for making all his videos, right? Because he has a lot of subscribers. So it's easy for him to look down on people who just have a job. Like, they're trying to sell cars, right? They're trying to sell Audis or BMWs or Chryslers or Fiats or whatever car they're trying to sell, right? So the consumer has to do the research, and I agree. I mean, hey, if I'm a car salesman, I probably wouldn't want to sell a certain type of car brand if I really didn't believe it was a very good car. But at the end of the day, if I'm working there, I have to do my best to sell those cars, right? And that doesn't involve lying to people, but as a consumer, you have to understand, hey, this guy's trying to sell me this car, right? Because he gets paid on selling these cars, right? And he's not selling Toyotas, right? It'd be pretty easy to sell Toyotas because, you know, people that do their research and have a little bit of money, a lot of them will buy Toyotas, right? Because they're reliable, they last a long time, and they're really probably the best overall value. So you don't really need to be a salesman to sell a Toyota. Me personally, I think it would be kind of hard to go sell like a Chrysler or, you know, certain cars that just don't have very good value. Like, they're kind of overpriced, they don't last a long time, the warranty's not great. You know, you're not going to really be happy with it, right? That's going to be hard for me to want to go sell that. But at the end of the day, if I'm working there, you know, I have to try to sell these cars, right? So again, I don't really, when he starts talking like that, it's like, hey, yeah, obviously everyone's dealt with people who are like overly salesy and are pushing you to try to do something. You can't get pressured into doing that, and you have to do your own research. You know, if you're getting a good deal on the car, even though it's maybe not the best car, and you're like, hey, I don't want to spend a crazy amount of money, and this car is going to last me, you know, 5 years maybe, or 6 years, and I don't expect it to be the best car, but I just want it to not break down on me. Okay, but if you're expecting to get a very reliable car, and then you know, the price is like way less than the other car, you're probably not going to get the most reliable car. So I think a lot of people walk into those situations, into dealerships or whatever, and they have no idea. They don't know what cars are really much better than others, and they say, well, I can't really afford a Toyota because it's, you know, even the used ones are more expensive than new cars, like, you know, Dodge or Chrysler or you know, any of the other BMWs, Audis. You know, they have terrible resale values because when they get older, you know, 100,000 miles, 7, 8, 10 years old or older, they just have a lot of things that go wrong. Like, there's things that need to be looked at. It's not running correctly. You know, that involves taking it to a mechanic and having, you know, $500 here, $1,000 there. Before you know it, the car's, you know, it's not worth what you're doing. So his advice most of the time, like 100%, you know, or maybe 90%, I agree with it. It's like, hey, do your research. Don't support companies that don't have a good product. And but the 10% I disagree with is, hey, you shouldn't be dogging on car salespeople for trying to sell a car. You know, that's their job. That's what they're trying to do. They only have one brand to choose from. If you work at Audi, or if you work at BMW, if you work at Chrysler, if you work at Jeep, Dodge, you can only sell those cars. You're not a used car salesman who has a bunch of, you know, different brands to sell most of the time. And I think it would be incredibly easy to work at Toyota, and Honda, but Toyota, because there's not enough right now. There's not enough cars being made. And there's more people that want to buy a Toyota than there are Toyotas available. So really, you're just kind of order taking. And you have all the leverage because, hey, I have a brand new Toyota Tacoma. This guy wants a Toyota Tacoma. He's willing to pay $50,000 for it, or however much it is. And I don't even have to sell the car because this guy's done his research and he knows that it's a good value. And they have the money, right? People that don't have the money are typically looking for a cheaper option. And so that's when they get involved with bad deals because they don't have the money for a quality brand. They want to spend less, so they don't want to buy a new car. So they end up buying a car that's kind of a lemon. And then the car salesman has to kind of sell them a little bit because they don't really know what they want. So I don't think I'd want to do that. I personally wouldn't want to like sell cars or really anything that wasn't great, that wasn't at least industry standard. It wasn't some level of quality. right? If you're selling cars that consistently break down and the customers are not happy with, and you're having to basically convince people to buy your car, even though the market research says that your car's not very good, that would be hard to do because people are spending a lot of money on something that's very important, a vehicle to get around, and they're going to have problems with it. They're not going to be happy with it. They're going to get into a loan with it that's not advantageous to them. You know, they're going to be paying a lot of money on a car that in 3 to 5 years is not worth anything or not worth a lot at all. So it's difficult. But I would just say, as a consumer, you have to do your research. And when he starts dogging on people for trying to sell cars, it's like, hey, dude, that's their job. You know, you're sitting up in your tower. You know, you're a mechanic. Great, you've worked on cars for a long time. You're very knowledgeable. But why do you need to be taking it out on people who are that's their job? I mean, they're trying to make money, right? They have a family. They have expenses just like everyone else does. And that's their stream of income, right? They have to make money. If you were in their position, you would do the same thing, right? But because you're a guy on YouTube and you've been successful, you're just going to say, oh, these guys are terrible. They're trying to sell. They're slick snake oil salesmen trying to sell bad cars. Yeah, I mean, they could get a different job, I guess, but, you know, they have a job. They're trying to sell a car. So, again, as a consumer, you have to do your research on what you're buying. And I think if any salesperson is being overly salesy, that's kind of a turnoff to me, at least. Like, I should feel like I'm just having a conversation with you. And I know you've done some research, and I have some facts about whatever I'm selling, and I can present those to you. And if I feel like it makes sense, then maybe I'll try to get you to buy it. Maybe I'll try to get you to want to do something today on it, right? But if I'm having to basically pull you through and convince you to do something that you seem unsure about and you don't really know what's going on, I think that's going to end poorly, right, for most people. But the salesman, right, he realizes, hey, I literally do not get paid anything if I don't try to sell this person, right? And I don't have a very good product. So it's kind of a crossroads of, well, what do? I need to make money, and that's going to trump me trying to, you know, I'm not going to tell the other person if I work at Chrysler to go buy a Toyota, right? I'm not going to do that because I work at Chrysler. If the guy goes and buys a Toyota, I don't get paid anything, right? So it's kind of a crossroads. I mean, yes, I'd rather work at Toyota because it's a better car, but the reality of the situation is, you know, I'm a salesman at this company, so I have to try to represent this company because that's how I get paid. So a lot of people they don't know what's going on, and so if they get a good salesman, they'll buy a Chrysler because they don't know, right? So that's why it's like, hey, if I'm going to be doing stuff where I'm interacting with selling stuff for people, you want to do it at a company that has a good product. Or, hey, if you're selling a worse product, then you're doing it at a better price. You're giving them a better deal so that it makes sense for them, right? So I don't know. That's my only opinion on it. I like his videos. It's kind of a long-winded answer, but I like his videos. I think they're informational. But when he starts getting so negative on people who are they just have jobs and they're trying to make ends meet by selling a car, or maybe it's being a mechanic, like repairing cars. Hey, if you want to repair your own car, go ahead and do it. If you want to bring it to us, you know, go out and get 2 or 3 quotes and choose the best one for you. If someone's charging you something that's crazy, fix it yourself or go get a couple other quotes and see if that guy's crazy, right? Maybe he's charging you $2,000 for something that the other guy's charging you $300. So you just have to do your research as the consumer. And, you know, even with YouTube now, a lot of stuff you can kind of figure stuff out on your own as far as general maintenance stuff and what something should cost, you know, as well as getting multiple bids. So I like his videos, but sometimes he just gets really, really negative about people who I feel it's like, hey, dude, these guys are just trying to make a living, and you're saying they're terrible salespeople and trying to rip people off. At the end of the day, they just work wherever they work, and they're trying to make money in a system that's set up for them. So that's it. You guys have a good one. Let me know what you think. Bye.